now I make like videos about birds and wildlife, I think people assume that I've always been like knowledgeable about this stuff and like I've grown up knowing the bird calls and how to identify things, but that's like not the case at all really. Like, yeah, I studied biology at uni, but they never taught you much about British wildlife. You're learning genetics and photosynthesis and I don't know, different things like that, when I still left and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, or I still couldn't identify much local wildlife at all. So I committed myself to this RSPB internship, which I think was like 8 months, helping out with school groups on this little nature reserve in Birmingham. And the reason I did that, actually, just to go back a bit, was because I was applying for all these jobs and not getting them. And then eventually one person sat me down and was like, look, you don't have enough volunteering experience. Go to the RSPB and do one of these internships. So I was like, yeah, fine, I'll do it. I was working in a cafe and a primary school alongside it. And I think just committing to that, be like, look, I'm doing 8 months on this nature reserve, take it seriously and start trying to learn your wildlife. So I did start reading books through there. I also spent a lot of time with older volunteers. Books are good for learning, but then nothing beats spending time with someone who knows what they're talking about, and because they'll be noticing stuff that you would never pick up on, calling out the birds. And I learned so much from spending time with those volunteers. Sat out in the garden just looking at the bugs, trying to identify things using apps and stuff on my phone. It's a slow process, like learning wildlife. And I think when I first got into conservation, I thought you had to know it all. I was quite be like, oh, I need to learn my birds and my beetles and the butterflies. I don't think that's quite as important now. We've got all these great apps that can help you along the way. And then, yeah, I went on plenty of like guided walks and things, trying to learn from people that way. And you always get taught so much information on some of these events that it'd be like, oh, I'm never going to remember all this. And I sort of try to reassure myself that, oh, if I can just learn a couple of bits of information from this walk over time, that will add up.